Connor, who was 8, was thrilled to have a big sister. He peppered me with questions about high school and begged me to teach him to drive, which I couldn't do for obvious reasons, but I promised to when he was older. "Do you think Mom and Gary will get back together?" Connor asked one day while we were building a fort in Dad's backyard. "I don't think so," I said gently. "Sometimes when people hurt each other really badly, they can't fix it." "Good," he said matter-of-factly. "Gary was mean to you." Dad cried when he told us what Gary did. It was strange, building a relationship with a brother I'd never known existed. But Connor and I clicked immediately. He had Dad's sense of humor and an 8-year-old's brutal honesty that I found refreshing after years of Gary's manipulation. The legal proceedings took almost a year to fully resolve. Gary did pay back most of what he owed, though it required selling everything he'd bought with my money: the boat, the motorcycle, the watch collection, even the house. He moved to another state and took a job selling insurance. Last I heard, he was living in a studio apartment and driving a 15-year-old car. The expensive lifestyle he'd built on stolen money was gone. Mom slowly rebuilt her relationship with Dad. It wasn't romantic, that ship had sailed long ago, but they managed to become friendly co-parents. She apologized repeatedly for enabling Gary's behavior, and Dad, being the kind of person he was, forgave her. "We were all victims of Gary's manipulation," he said. "The important thing is that we don't let him continue to damage our family." As my senior year of high school progressed, I found myself changing in ways I hadn't expected. The constant tension that had defined my home life was gone. For the first time in years, I could relax. I could be myself without worrying about Gary's disapproval or manipulation. My grades improved. My anxiety decreased. I started making plans for college with the confidence that comes from knowing your family actually supports you. Dad helped me apply to universities, something Gary had actively discouraged. "Community college builds character," Gary used to say, while secretly planning to keep me close so he could maintain control. Now I had options. Real options, backed by the child support money that was finally being used for its intended purpose. "What do you want to study?" Dad asked one afternoon as we reviewed application essays. "Criminal justice," I said without hesitation. "Family law, specifically. I want to help kids who are being kept from their parents." Dad smiled. "That's my girl." The day I got my college acceptance letter, I called Dad first, then Grandma, then Mom. For the first time in my life, I had a whole family celebrating my achievements instead of just one man deciding whether they were worthy of recognition. Gary had tried to reach out a few times over the months, usually when he was drinking, if the timestamps on his messages were any indication. Rambling texts about how I'd ruined his life, how he'd given me everything, how I was ungrateful. I blocked his number after the third one. I didn't owe him my attention or my forgiveness. The night before I left for college, Dad and I sat on his porch talking about everything and nothing. 2 years earlier, I'd thought he didn't care about me. Now I couldn't imagine my life without him. "I'm proud of you," he said as we watched the sunset. "Not just for getting into college, but for having the courage to find the truth and fight for it." "I'm proud of you too," I said, "for never giving up, even when it seemed hopeless. I could never give up on you. You're my daughter." Those words meant everything to me, not because of biology, but because they represented a choice.